I'm going to talk about trust that leads to fear God. Rabbeinu Yonah states that one who understands that one may attain perfect reverence for God only through complete trust in Him. He explains that by putting one's trust in and fearing only God, one becomes attuned to the fact that everything, including one's own success, is due to God. In other words, God receives all the credit. This will cause one to constantly rely and turn out to Him. The perfecting of one's reverence for God. One could look at the commentary of Rabbeinu Yonah on Mishle, which is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 7. Rabbeinu Yonah means to say that by practicing one's obligation to trust in God, by constantly turning one's eye towards Him, one will surely attune his soul to God's perpetual presence, fulfilling the words of Psalms 16, verse 8. I have set the Lord before me always, and assist himself greatly in his efforts to attain true fear of God. This is the idea similar to Rabbeinu Bachaye's statements in Kad HaKemach, that one who is aware that the results of his abilities and actions are totally dependent on the Lord is truly imbued with the fear of God. The fear of God facilitates trust in Him. It is further stated in Kad HaKemach that just as trust in Hashem helps one attain fear of God, so does the fear of God lead him to trust in Him. This is in consonance with what Mishle, or Proverbs 29, verse 25 says. A man's fear becomes a trap for him, but he who trusts in the Lord shall be safeguarded. Because the fact that one is afraid in a threatening situation and does not rely on God points to an imperfect fear of God, since the total fear of God would preclude fear of man. Similarly, the Torah states that anyone who is afraid and faint-hearted shall go back to his home from the war because he lacks the full measure of trust in God, bitachon Hashem, fearing that the enemy more than him. Consequently, such a person lacks the merit to survive a battle. Trust in God is fear of God in the highest degree. Rabbeinu Yonah writes in Mishle, regarding Mishle 18:10, know that the trust in God is one of the highest levels of fearing God. Therefore, a righteous person who is without sin need not worry about being harmed. As it is written, you who fear the Lord, trust in the Lord. Psalms 115:11. Those who fear God trust in Him on the highest level than others. This means that just as it is possible to attain the fear of God without constantly being aware of Him, so it is necessary to realize that everything is dependent on God's will in order to achieve perfect trust in Him. This demonstrates that the fear of God and the trust in Him are the same in essence. Rabbeinu Yonah carries this idea a step further by stating that every virtue found in Proverbs or Mishle, as well as every good moral, is necessary for a person to attain trust in God, because one must have all the desirable attributes in order to acquire the fear of God. As our sages stated in Avodah Zarah 20b, purity and holiness leads to fear of sin. The latter is merely a prerequisite to attaining perfect trust in God. And according to Rabbeinu Yonah, trust in Him is one of the highest levels of fearing Him, fearing God. Rabbeinu Yonah on Mishle 22:19. From this, it is evident that trust in God is not limited to one's dealing or daily occurrences, but it encompasses all aspects to the service of God. We're going to talk more about trusting in the essence of trust in God in the next video.